Mr. Pierce, let me begin with you. So the bill soon to be law, because everyone expects the governor to sign it, would allow for local police to determine a person's immigration status based solely on their reasonable suspicion that they are in the country illegally. Do I have that correct before I ask the question?
Well, you do basically, but they've already have that authority. The problem is we have sanctuary policies all over the country that are illegal. We restrict law enforcement from asking the question they need to ask. We're going to take the handcuffs off from law enforcement. We're going to put them on the bad guy. Illegal is not a race; it's a crime.
What's the question they need to ask?
Well, very simple, like any other question. You stop somebody and they have no ID, you investigate who they are. Before you let them go, you got to know who they are, that they have a driver's license. It's no different. You know, this is amazing to me. We trust officers. We put guns on them. They make life and death decisions every day. They do investigated crime. They investigate capital crimes. They investigate sophisticated crime. But we're afraid they're going to pick up the phone and call ICE. 90% of the time, it's a phone call to ICE if they have reason to believe they're in the country illegally. It's outrageous that we continue to have the anarchists, the open border, while Phoenix have 50% of the homicides in Phoenix are committed by illegal aliens. Phoenix is number 2 in the world in kidnappings. It's become the home invasion, carjacking, identity capital of the world.
Let me help make your case a bit.
Anymore.
All right, let me help make your case a little bit, and then I'll get to Isabel. So your premise here is that this is a crime problem, and
it's an illegal problem. It's a crime.
It's a crime problem, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a crime problem, and they're taking jobs from Americans, billions of dollars in cost. We spent $1 billion in Arizona just to educate the children of illegally. It's a constitutional right of the citizens of this country to expect their laws to be enforced. We're going to enforce them.
All right, Isabel, I see you shaking your head. What do you want to say to this?
Absolutely. I think this bill represents the most dangerous precedent in this country, violating all of our due process rights. We have not seen this kind of legislation since the Jim Crow laws and targeting our communities. It is the single most largest attack on our communities, and Mr. Pierce is absolutely wrong. Immigrants have done nothing but contribute to this society, especially to the economy of Arizona, and for him to pose this stopping all of us who are brown-skinned, legalizing racial profiling as the #1 law enforcement technique, when all of the studies show that undocumented immigrants have a net gain to our economy, our culture, and
Isabel,
our fight for human rights.
Now, Russell, let me have a shot here, and then I'll give you your turn. To Isabel, you know, Isabel, really, the facts are here. You've got a large number of illegal immigrants in Arizona. You can't deny that, and some estimates say the number is as high as 400,000. Doesn't something more need to be done? Now, you might want to question why the state senator is, you know, going around federal law here, but doesn't something need to be? I'll get to that in a second. But Isabel, shouldn't something be done here?
That is precisely the issue. The federal government has refused to deal with immigration with the phenomenon that it is. It is a socio-economic, political phenomenon. It is not a law enforcement phenomenon. It is not a national security issue. It is an issue of root cause. Why don't we address NAFTA and the fact that they have displaced 6 million farm workers? What do we expect them to do? And Arizona was purposely created to be the funnel for immigrant flow. That is precisely why Phoenix has the number of immigrants, and the underground bad guys, if you will, have been created precisely because of our immigration policies. And so Mr. Pierce and his cabal in the legislature are highly irresponsible and dangerous to this community.
All right, Mr. Pierce, have your say here. And why did you've got federal law out there, why new state mandates and new state law?
Well, first of all, they've always had the authority to enforce the law. And of course, she's an anarchist. She's on the border. She's all the time defending illegals, crime, lawbreakers over lawkeepers. Let's look at reality. First of all, it's the law. We've always had the authority to enforce it. I'm tired of the damage. I've been to the funerals of Officer Erfley, Officer Atkins, Officer Martin, Officer Figueroa that have been murdered by illegal aliens. Chris Miller, the 17-year-old girl from Island High School that was killed, the 15-year-old that was raped in Scottsdale, the 15-year-old kidnapped and raped in Guadalupe. I'm sick and tired of these people who defend. This is not about immigration. That's a legal process that we all love and admire. This is about illegal aliens who enter our country in violation of the law.
Senator, do you think you're going to get any help in Hispanic neighborhoods?
Good question.
And getting at these bad guys with this kind of. All right, go ahead.
Good question. In 2006, I put 4 ballot initiatives on the Arizona ballot to deal with the illegal aliens. 4. They passed by an average of 75%. 60% of Hispanics voted for them. This is outrageous that they would think for some reason because you're Hispanic that you support lawbreakers. It's not true. It's never been true. In fact, they're the people hurt the most by this the minority communities by the illegal alien invasion. Their jobs are taken. Their families are injured. I mean, this is outrageous that we continue to ignore the damage to America, the destruction of the rule of law. Again, you have a right to know who's coming into this country, who they are. They have to have a permission slip. We do not tolerate those who break into our country, just like we don't tolerate those who break into our homes.
Isabel, have your say here.
Absolutely not. I think the fact that they pose migration as an issue of law enforcement has diverted all of law enforcement, instead of looking at the issues of crime. It's very clear. The East Valley Tribune documented that Sheriff Arpaio let go a lot of rapists and murderers because he was focusing on prosecuting workers, day laborers.
That's a lie.
And so the real problem here is that Russell Pearce and Sheriff Arpaio have done more damage to our Constitution than anybody else in recent history, and all of those violations are being normalized in order to affect every single one of us. Whether you're blonde and blue-eyed, you're going to feel the impact, especially the resources that are being expended on this when we need health care, we need education, we need infrastructure, and Mr. Pearce instead wants to be a national figure on this anti-immigrant hysteria that has gripped the state of Arizona.
All right, last word on the bill you sponsored that is no doubt going to become Arizona law.
Well, it's sad that we continue to purport this misinformation. That's an absolute fabrication. She knows it's a fabrication. I stand up for the law-abiding citizens of this country. I will not ignore the damage, the deaths, the maimings. It's outrageous.
No.
50% of homicides, data, fact, in Phoenix committed by illegal aliens. Yeah, it's outrageous that she continues to support this.
All right, how about this?
The issue of crime is separate from the issue of migration.
The screen here so I can. Hi, everybody. So here's what we're going to do.
Fabrication.
We are going to, Senator Pearce, you won't mind if we fact check your claims in this interview. Isabel, you won't mind if we fact check your claims in this interview, right? You're good with it?
Absolutely not.
That's a yes, right? We're going to fact check both of you, all right?
I hope you do. Let's get the facts out there. First of all, it's a crime. Illegal is not a race. It's a crime. We're going to enforce the law.
No, migration is not a criminal issue.
So
it is not.
We're going to let
we need to address root cause.
Apparently nothing is to you.